I was hunched over in the garage, stretching for a toy, when he stepped inside. Jordan, our new black nanny, a decade younger, gazed at me in a way that erased my identity as someone's wife. "Are you cold?" he asked. Just 4 words, but they sparked everything. You won't believe what unfolded next. Stay with me. If you've ever held a secret too heavy to voice aloud, hit like and subscribe, because some moments aren't meant to occur. Yet they do. I never intended to hire a male nanny, especially not someone like him. It had been one of those weeks. Mark was away again, on another extended work trip in Alaska. The kids were uncontainable, the laundry stacking up as if it had its own will. I barely had a moment to catch my breath, let alone reflect. I recall standing in the kitchen, hair tied in a messy bun, coffee gone, lukewarm, when my neighbor Beth dropped by. You look overwhelmed," she said softly, pressing a business card into my hand. "He's a miracle worker. My boys love him." I glanced at the name. Jordan Hayes, family care professional. I scoffed at the title. It sounded more like a life coach than a nanny, but I kept the card. 2 days later, he was at my door. I opened it expecting, I don't know, someone older, gentler, perhaps grandfatherly. Instead, there he stood, tall, broad-shouldered, warm brown skin, exuding a quiet confidence that filled the room before he spoke. His smile wasn't flirtatious but disarming, the kind that says, "You're safe here." The kids took to him instantly. Lily clung to his leg as if they'd been friends forever. Tyler proudly displayed his plastic dinosaur collection. And I just stood there. I hired him on the spot. Out of desperation, yes. But also because he felt steady, reliable, like someone who'd faced chaos and knew how to hold it together. Over the following weeks, Jordan wove himself into the fabric of our home. He wasn't just helpful, he was fully present. No phone scrolling, no clock watching. He was on the floor, constructing Lego castles, singing lullabies, cutting vegetables into star shapes to coax Lily to eat. I found myself smiling when his voice echoed down the hall, chuckling at his playful stories, anticipating our brief morning talks as he prepared school lunches. Nothing was improper, nothing spoken, nothing acted upon. But that didn't mean nothing was stirring. Not yet. It began with small things. The way he hummed while slicing vegetables. The way he knelt to tie Lily's shoes with patience, as if nothing else mattered in that moment. The way he said, "Good morning, Miss Emily," with a teasing cadence that sent a flutter through me. I told myself it was nothing, though it felt far from it. One morning, I rushed downstairs, hair damp, blouse half tucked, scrambling for a Zoom meeting. Jordan was in the kitchen, helping Tyler pour cereal. "Rough morning?" he asked, glancing up. "You have no idea," I sighed, grabbing coffee. Then he said something simple, harmless. "You look good in blue." I froze. Not because of the words, but how he said them, like a fact, not flattery, as if they'd slipped out unfiltered. That made it feel real. I laughed it off, pretending not to notice, though my pulse betrayed me. I told myself he was just being kind, polite, that I was reading too much into it. But the truth? I'd started to see him, truly see him. The curve of his jaw, the crinkle in his eyes when Lily made him laugh. The way he rolled up his sleeves in the afternoon, wiping sweat from his brow after running with the kids in the yard. Then came the laundry room moment. I was sorting clothes, half distracted, when Jordan entered, carrying a basket of towels. "Need help?" he asked. I'm good, I replied, barely looking up. But as he moved past to set the towels down, his hand grazed my lower back, faint, but enough to stop me cold. We said nothing. He didn't apologize. I didn't pull away. The silence stretched, heavy, too long. Then, without a glance, he turned and left. I stood there, staring at the socks in my hand as if they were holy, heart racing, breath shallow. That night, lying awake beside Mark's soft, familiar snoring, all I could think of was a man who hadn't meant to touch me, but had. Worse, I didn't want to forget it. It was Lily's birthday. Balloons, cupcakes, glitter everywhere. Parents came and went, kids ran wild. Jordan managed it all with the ease of someone who'd done it 100 times. By night's end, the house was a disaster. The kids were finally asleep, and I was knee-deep in frosting and crumpled gift wrap. Jordan was wiping counters when I handed him a glass of lemonade. "You didn't have to stay this late," I said. He smiled, soft. "Didn't want to leave you with this mess." We sat at the kitchen table, alone for the first time. No noise, no little voices, just us. The silence felt strange, but not uncomfortable, like we'd both been waiting for this moment, though neither would admit it. "You're amazing with them," I said quietly. "They love you." "They make it easy," he replied, then added, "You've done a good job, Emily." Something in his tone made me pause. Warm, genuine, sinking into my chest, my hands, the way my knees brushed his under the table. Our eyes met, held. I looked away first. "Some days I feel like I'm just surviving," I admitted. He didn't reply immediately, just looked at me. Really looked, like he saw past the layers I hid from everyone else. "You don't have to do it all alone," he said. And for a moment, I believed him. My fingers tightened around the glass. My breath caught, the kind you hold when something real is about to happen. But it didn't. He stood abruptly, breaking the moment. "I should go," he said, voice low. I nodded, hiding the disappointment blooming inside. "Thanks again," I said, standing to walk him out. He paused at the door. "Happy birthday to Lily." Then, after a beat, "Good night, Emily." My name felt different on his lips, like it carried weight. The next morning, everything was louder. The clatter of cereal in bowls, the dishwasher's hum, the kids' bright, chaotic laughter, all too sharp. Maybe because my thoughts were deafening. Mark was still gone. Jordan arrived as always, on time, calm, smiling at the kids. But when our eyes met over the breakfast counter, something shifted. Neither of us spoke, but we paused a heartbeat too long before turning away. Later, as the kids watched cartoons, I gathered leftover birthday decorations. Jordan walked in, barefoot, holding a half-deflated balloon. "Need help?" he asked. I nodded, kneeling by the cabinet for a storage bin. He crouched beside me, close enough that our shoulders nearly brushed. "You okay?" he asked softly, not looking at me. I nodded, slower. "Just tired." He didn't reply right away, reaching into the cabinet for tape. His hand brushed mine. We froze. Neither of us pulled away. I looked at him. He was already looking at me. Not a glance, but a deep, searching gaze, asking something wordless. Slowly he lifted his hand, hesitated, then wiped something, frosting maybe, from my cheek with his thumb. His touch was gentle, too gentle, the kind that lingers. "Sorry," he murmured, but he didn't move back. Neither did I. The space between us vanished. His knee against mine, his hand still near my face, his breath steady but shallow. My heart pounded, hands trembling, not from fear, but from want. His eyes flickered to my lips for a second. Then a knock at the door shattered it all. We jerked back. "I'll get it," he said quickly, standing, voice tight. I stayed put, staring at the floor, chest heaving. Whatever that was, it was almost not a mistake. That scared me most. The kids were long asleep. The house dark, except for the soft amber glow from the kitchen window. Outside, the night air was cooler than usual, crisp enough to draw a blanket tighter. I stepped onto the back porch, clutching chamomile tea, knowing sleep wouldn't come easily. The door opened behind me. "Can't sleep either." Jordan's voice was low, warm, too close. I didn't turn immediately, my mind too heavy. He stepped out, holding a second mug, offering it wordlessly. Our fingers touched as I took it. Brief, electric. "Thanks," I said quietly. He didn't sit beside me, taking the step below, facing the yard. "It's peaceful out here," he said. "Yeah," I whispered. "Dangerously peaceful." He chuckled, the sound fading fast. The silence that followed wasn't empty. It pulsed. I felt him without looking, his body leaning slightly toward mine, his knee brushing my foot once, staying there. I sipped the tea, hands trembling. "I'm not sure this is smart," I said softly. "What?" he asked, though he knew. "This," I replied. "Whatever this is." He turned slowly, resting an arm on the step behind me, his body now angled toward mine. "I've been trying not to cross that line," he said, voice like velvet over gravel, every day. I looked down, avoiding his eyes. "But tonight," he added, "that line's fading." I didn't stop him when he reached for my blanket's edge, didn't flinch when his fingers grazed my arm, adjusting it over my shoulder slowly, like he wasn't sure I'd stay. I didn't pull away. His hand lingered. Not heavy, just there. Our eyes met. I saw the question, the permission, and I didn't look away. He leaned in, deliberate, close enough that I felt his breath's warmth, tasted the mint from his tea. But a dog barked in the distance. A neighbor's porch light flicked on. We froze. His forehead rested against mine briefly. Then he exhaled, controlled, and pulled back. "We should go inside," he said, gentle but firm. I nodded, not because I wanted to stop, but because I had to. We stood carefully, awkwardly, like waking from a dream we hadn't dared finish. Inside, the house felt different. Not for what happened, but for what almost did. The next morning, it was as if nothing had happened, yet everything had. Jordan arrived at 8, sharp, smiling at the kids, helping Lily with her socks, tossing a ball to Tyler. He didn't look at me. I didn't look at him, not really, but I felt him everywhere. The kitchen felt smaller, the hallway narrower. Every room he entered, I sensed him before he spoke. We were polite, professional, smiling for the kids, but the space between us thrummed. At one point, reaching for milk in the fridge as he opened the cabinet above for cereal, our arms brushed. We froze, breath caught, then pulled back, continuing as if lightning hadn't struck. Later, I stared out the window, tea in hand, while the kids played outside. He was pushing Lily on the swing, laughing. For 1 second, I wanted to rewind or fast forward. Anything but linger in this unbearable in-between. When he brought them in, I stood by the sink, rinsing a cup that didn't need it. He stood a few feet away, helping Tyler with a stubborn shoelace. I felt him like a current across my skin. He glanced up once, our eyes locking for half a second too long. Then it was gone. "Need me to stay late?" he asked, voice calm, careful. "No, I've got it," I replied. "Thank you." We both knew we weren't talking about that. When he left, he high-fived Lily, ruffled Tyler's hair, and said goodbye to me from across the room. No wave, no smile, just a quiet nod. I nodded back. He was gone, and the house, though noisy, felt hollow. Days passed. Jordan still came, still smiled at the kids, still carried that calm steadiness I once mistook for mere kindness. But something between us had stilled. Not cold, not gone, just restrained, cautious. The quiet of two people who know what they feel but choose silence. I watched him more than I should. When he caught me, he didn't smile anymore, just looked, knowing. Mark came home Friday night, hugging the kids, kissing me briefly, recounting the same weary work stories. He didn't notice anything different, but I had. That night, lying beside him, eyes open in the dark, I thought of a line I never crossed, but still lost something too. Not my marriage, but perhaps a part of myself I thought was long buried, the part that still longed to be seen. Jordan never truly touched me, but I felt him more than anyone had in years, and that might be worse. On Monday, I handed him the week's check as usual. He took it, fingers brushing mine, a faint hint of something unsaid lingering. "You're good with them," I said quietly. "They're good kids," he replied. I nodded. Neither of us said goodbye. He walked out and I stood, holding the space he'd left. That night, I made dinner, laughed with the kids, poured wine, looked at my husband across the table, and wondered if he saw the change in my eyes. Deep down, I knew nothing would happen with Jordan, but something already had. Maybe that's the true danger. Not what you do, but what you almost do and never forget. Have you ever had a moment that changed nothing yet everything? A glance, a breath, a silence that spoke too much? Share in the comments, or don't. If this story stirred something, hit like. For more raw, real, unfinished stories like this, subscribe. Because sometimes the stories that linger are the ones that never fully end.